Hey everyone, I'm your host, Emily Lauren. Welcome to the Body Positive Podcast, where we ditch diets, normalize real bodies, and help you feel better in your own skin.
Welcome everyone to the Body Positive Podcast Show. Today I'd like to welcome my fellow Familius author, Liz Swenson. She is a teacher, painter, illustrator, and author of You Got This Mama, From Boobs to Blowouts, a survival guide for new mothers. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Me too. So first of all, I just have to say that I wish I had your book when I first had my kids. It is everything you need in a book as a new mom. And I think what I really love the most is how non-judgmental it comes off. So tell me about what inspired you to create this beautiful book.
Well, I mean, I wish I had it when I had my first baby too.
We always write the books we wish we had, right?
I know, totally. Yeah, no, it was just a gift for my best friend, just kind of randomly and wonderfully. I was due with my second baby 3 months before she was due with her first, and my two babies were like super back to back.
Yes.
And so I was like, okay, I'm going to make like a survival guide for her. And I kind of had the idea before I had the baby. So I was like, okay, when I have Hendrik, I'm going to write everything down and like in really detail. So I have it really explicitly, like here's all the things. And so I just kind of had like a little journal that I was doing for this little project for her baby shower. Aww. And then, Katie's the best. I love her. So, like you've just gone through it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be gnarly. Like, what do I give my best friend for this journey? So I kept a little journal and I presented her with, I ended up, making it really cute and scrapbooky and like did the watercolors and it was just like a little gift. And then I packaged it with all my favorite things, like the miracle blanket and my favorite nursing bra, like just, all the things that I loved. And so it was my little survival guide. And that was it. That would have been the end of the story. And then I got pregnant almost 4 years later, and I couldn't remember anything about that baby phase. And I was like, oh, wait, I know that I put some good stuff in that book. Like, I wonder if she still has it. And so she's like, of course I have it. And, sorry about that.
No worries.
And so she was like, of course I have it. Here you go. And I read it and I started crying and I was like, this is the sweetest thing. Like all new moms should have this. And that was it. It was just this idea that was bugging me. And it was, like a little 12-page scrapbook that I had. It was very small. And it just was this like idea that kept kind of bugging me. And I thought, on maternity leave, I'll have all this time and I'll send it in. I'll send out like a proposal to a publisher. And that wasn't what I wanted to do when I was on maternity. I wanted to
of course.
I wanted to clean the refrigerator and make sure the nursery was perfect. So, but it was still there. So when my littlest was 6 days old, I had this like quiet moment and I was like, I'll just see what I can do while he's sleeping, and set it out. And Familius wrote back right away that they loved it. And
amazing.
I didn't even, the illustration part like came second. And that's so funny because that's probably my favorite part, is doing all the art. I was an artist, I actually, when I was in high school, got into art school and I got a scholarship actually, but
wow.
I was like, what am I can't do anything with my art. So I just kind of like, it was just like my little side thing, and decided to be a math major and become a math teacher.
It's always the way, right?
It's funny though, my brain, it's both the like peaceful place. Doing hard math and painting kind of get the same idea. So Anyway,
I
that's
love
my
that.
story.
I love that. That's so amazing. And what a great way to have started everything. And now you can share those wise words with the world, right? So another thing I really love
Yeah,
about
it's
your
cool.
book is just how digestible it is. When you're thrust into that whole new mom routine, you have very little time to spend on anything that takes a long time to get through. And so with your book, you can open it up and read inspirational messages or get some really practical advice instantly. Was this the intent, or did it just, was it a happy byproduct when you kind of put it all together?
I have to say this is like a familiar realization. So what I gave to my best friend was a scrapbook, and I had kind of the same amount of information on each page of my little scrapbook that I had in the book. So they kind of were like, this is cool because it's just like a little Instagrammable amount of information on each page. Could you take 12 pages and make it 200? And I was like, yeah, I could for sure. I've got a lot more things I can say about babies because I'm in it. And because I wrote the whole thing while Escher was like 2 months to 4 months. Like I did
that
the whole
is
thing.
so cool.
Yeah, so I was in it. And yeah, it was kind of the idea it was their kind of vision that, oh, this amount of information on the page is like, will be useful. And then, because I'd already done it that way. So I just took what I'd done and then kind of expanded on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the message I really got from your book was like that it's important that we have some guidance when it comes to motherhood, but also be able to sort of figure out what works for us. Like, I love your quote, everything is figure outable. That was such a good one.
It is. And, I honestly, like, I don't think there is one way to be a great mom. There's an infinite number of ways to be a great mom, and I think that you are the best mom you can be when you are doing what feels right in your heart and soul and your gut. And I wrote this book for my best friend, and I think it's true for all humans. She's perfect. She's going to be perfect. Like I knew going in, writing it, like you have absolutely got this. You're going to be amazing. Here's like some information that's helpful.
Yeah, of course.
So it's just, I
so
think
sweet.
there is so much like insecurity when you first have a baby because you care so much and you feel so, lost and new to it all. There's just so much. And so having like, that's why I cried when I read it because I was like, oh, this is like so. I just thought that I put in information about poop. I didn't realize how much I had written her like love notes throughout it all.
Aww.
And so I was like, this is what new moms need: is someone like cheerleading them on. Like, you're perfect. Yeah, you trust your gut. If you're freaking out about that, then call someone. Like, that's fine. Like, you don't have to know it all. Like, yes, you are going to be sweaty. It's disgusting. Like, invest in yourself. Like, my number one thing is, take care of yourself because you'll forget. And also, you can't care for another little human and your partner or whoever without caring for yourself. Like, that's definitely a big belief of mine. So
I love that.
I don't know if I answered your question.
So true. You did. You absolutely did. And, I also like now moving into sort of some of what you cover, I really appreciated how you addressed the feeding your baby section because a lot of books out there address breastfeeding as if it's the only option, but you have these really beautiful and gentle notes about making the best decision for yourself and are also truthful about the difficulties behind breastfeeding. Why was it important for you to tackle breastfeeding or not breastfeeding without this shame?
Oh, thank you. That was actually so important to me. I have just known so many moms and myself, like it is such an emotional thing feeding your baby in the beginning. I don't know what it triggers in us, but man, like it is just, and I have had best friends sob on me, because it wasn't working. And, my mother-in-law wasn't able to, and I've heard her story. Like, it's just something, there's just something in it that is just so vulnerable for women, and I just wanted to make sure that I express that, like, however you feed your baby, like, the thing is, keep it alive. Like,
yes, yeah.
like that's the big goal, and then like everything else is like extra. Like I actually
bonuses and
yeah. I just stopped nursing my little guy like I think a week ago. And it's just this emotional thing, and I just wanted to be so sensitive and so loving, and like I just wanted to give a giant hug to the mom who can't, who wants to, or who doesn't want to and feels pressure. You know, I just wanted it to be like, you're all good. You're the way you are mothering is perfect, and go with what's right for you. Like I love that. I just truly believe in that you're gonna do that. You're perfect. That you are perfect. Yeah. You don't need to do it any way that everybody's telling you. However, whatever feels right for you.
Exactly. And I feel like when it comes to feeding your baby, society can sort of make you feel like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of thing. Like, you know, there's cases where, you know, people who do breastfeed, it's like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, or they sexualize it. And then, you know, if you aren't breastfeeding, it's like, oh, you know, you're not feeding your baby, you know, with proper nutrients, they're going to have allergies and things like that, you know. How do you think that we can stop the shame cycle with moms especially? Does it start with just, you know, positive interactions between our fellow moms?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. Well, when I wrote the book, I reached out to my friend who had done a few, she's actually on Instagram as well, and Shauna the mom, my girlfriend that
awesome.
I love, she had done a few posts about the way that she fed her baby or something like that, and so I knew that she was doing formula feeding, and so I reached out to her about I actually sent her everything. So I wanted to get like different perspectives. And I sent actually all my breastfeeding stuff to like, I think 5 different women, everyone that had a different experience nursing, because I just wanted to make sure that it felt loving and supportive, no matter where you are coming from. And so I don't know if this is the answer, but you know, listening really openly to your friends, and you know, caring for them, and I've been researching my new book, and I was reading Brené Brown,
Love
and
her.
So she has a whole parenting chapter, and it's great. And so I was reading that, and she was just talking about the vulnerability of motherhood, and how when you are that vulnerable, it just like triggers all these defensive behaviors. And so I think acknowledging that we're vulnerable and kind of going, okay, I don't know it all. And that's when you cling to those ideas so hard. Like, people are so obsessed with the, you know, breastfeeding or the whatever, like, because they're vulnerable. And so holding on to that really tightly makes them feel safe. And so it's kind of like leaning into that vulnerability and leaning into like, I don't know all the answers, but I'm doing what feels right to me. And trusting yourself that, if it feels right to me, it's the right thing. That's hard to do. Not everyone's there. So,
absolutely. So I love that. I love that. And I love the quote that you included too. Being a mom is like folding a fitted sheet. No one really knows how to do it. And I think that like that is the motto that every mom needs to live by, because it's so true. And every child is different, and every family is different. And we have to remember that, you know, when we're being sensitive to others and what they're going through, because we never know the whole picture. And you know, when you see people on Instagram, you only see the highlight reel, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
The good times. So there is so much focus on taking care of baby as a new mom, but there aren't a lot of resources out there for taking care of yourself. And I just love that a large part of your book is dedicated to mom care. Why was this so important to you to really talk about self-care and taking care of yourself as a mom?
Well, I think that's just where it starts. Like, if you're not okay, I mean, certainly in my house, if I'm not okay, nobody's okay. Nobody's fed. Nobody's happy. Everyone's on edge. Like, mom needs to be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, having a baby is a very traumatic experience for your body. Yeah. I mean, it's a very beautiful, wonderful experience. But, I mean, your hormones are nuts. Like, your body changes so much. Your identity changes. Like, it's just this rush of enormous changes. And, like, you have to care for yourself. If all you're doing is thinking about the baby, then you're going to kind of get lost in it. And honestly, the reason that I focus so much on that is because you do get lost in it. Like, it is impossible to stop, sitting there listening to them breathe in the beginning. Like, you're just so absorbed. And so if you have like a nice friend tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, maybe try to take a shower. Like, you're okay. So,
self-care doesn't have to be complex, right?
No, like just take some time for yourself. Don't feel guilty about it. So yeah, as much as I could get that message across, like, hey, also take care of yourself, because you're going to be so absorbed in your baby that, like, you just forget. Like, women forget to eat and shower and do anything because they're just so focused on it, which is wonderful. I'm sure that's biological.
Yes.
But it's nice to have a friend say, hey, why don't we leave? Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go spa. Let's go take a walk. Let's go anything. Like, just your best friend there.
Anything is self-care, right?
Yeah, totally. I know. It's kind of pathetic that it's like going to grocery stores like,
time by yourself. For me, it was always sitting in the car because I knew baby was strapped in and we were good. And I was like, even if I was just sitting in the parking lot, to me, that was relaxing.
Yeah, that is totally relaxing. We just went to Hawaii, and that was my favorite because I have a 7 and a 5, and then I have this 18-month-old.
Yes.
He's a tornado of destruction, and so we're staying in all these rentals, and there is not a safe spot. Like, we're in this beautiful oceanfront property. Well, that means there's the ocean. And then, like, you don't want them to touch anything in the rental property because they just want to break it. And also, like, the rental properties aren't babies proofed. So it was this, like, on edge experience the whole time, except when we put him in the car. So I was like, let's go explore the jungle again. Let's go for another drive. Like,
you can breathe for a second there, right?
It was all about those drives.
You need a vacation after you have a vacation with kids, that's for sure.
I know. Oh my gosh. So funny. It was wonderful, but yeah, I was very happy to be in my safe home.
Yeah. So you also have a whole section dedicated to the body, which I love. And I love how body positive it is because there's so much pressure to bounce back, so to speak, after you have children. How can we address feeling not quite like yourself after you have a baby without the pressure to get your pre-baby body back?
I honestly would say... what I'm gonna say is gonna be annoying to people. I'm like, don't care. It doesn't matter. Like,
yep.
It doesn't. That should be the furthest thing from your mind. Like, care for your body's gonna change and it's gonna move and adjust and things are gonna. I mean, so much of it takes, like, your uterus isn't even always back to where it went 8 weeks later. Like, and then it takes your body, I think, like a whole year for your organs to, like, realign. Like,
yeah, where they go back into place.
Yeah, like, your body went through so much. Like, just, like, nurture. Like, just pour love and water, and I love green juice, so green juice. That's like my favorite.
Your go-to.
That's my go-to. My mama was so sweet, and hospital food was not great, and so my mom would bring me and my husband actually these giant jugs. I had 3 C-sections, unfortunately, so my body,
I've had 2 of those. I know the drill.
Oh yeah, your body is just, whoa.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, well, and it's painful. I mean, you got cut in half. Everyone's like, "Are you gonna have another baby?" And I'm like, I don't know that I want to get cut in half again. Like, I've been cut in half 3 times.
I know. I found at least the second one for me was a little bit, my second one was planned. So I felt a little bit more prepared. And I always remember my doctor saying, you know, the first C-section was like running a marathon and then going in for surgery. And the second one's like going to a spa and then going for surgery. So I was like, okay, that's the difference, but you're still going for surgery.
Totally. Yeah. No, I had my hair done on my second one. I had beautiful hair for that one.
Oh, nice. There you go. Things we do.
The first one was, rough. I don't know how long you labored, but it was forever for me.
It was a long time. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, but it's so funny, like, in terms of the whole post-pregnancy body. I think what we need to recognize is that all the things we're going through and thinking and whatnot, it has more to do with the changes, not so much in our physical body, but like what's going on internally. Because I think for me, like, I got sucked back into that bit of like wanting to lose weight and, you know, caring about my appearance because I just didn't feel like myself. And you're so desperate to feel like yourself, and you think that's the solution, but it's not. And I love that.
So true.
I love that you're talking all about just, you know, providing yourself with this love and self-care and watering yourself. I think it's so important that every new mom needs to understand that.
Nurture. But it's so true. You do feel so kind of not yourself in your own body for a while. So I like to get myself really nice pajamas. That was like
I love that.
That was my big thing that I splurged on because I was like, I feel like garbage. So I'm going to try to not feel it. I'm going to feel like garbage in very lovely pajamas that I'm going to wear all day.
I love that.
I invested heavily in nice loungewear before my second and my third, because my second, I was like, I remember how crappy I felt and all my crappy, and then like I was nursing, so it had to like hang really low so that there was like easy boob access. So I was like, okay, I'm
gonna get some nice stuff that you feel good in.
Totally. So that's kind of how I manage it. But it's an odd, I had a weird experience with my own body after kids. I lost weight. I got really actually thin from nursing, and I had so many people commenting on my body constantly.
Yeah.
And I was almost like embarrassed to wear clothes that like showed what my body looked like, because everyone was like, did you just have a baby? Oh my God. And I know that that's probably very, very irritating to a lot of people.
Yes.
But it felt the same. Like it felt, there's just so much judgment. And
yes,
there's just so
it's like
much
open season anytime you are either pregnant or after you're pregnant. It's like, even if it's said in a positive way, like, oh, you look great, you look like you've lost weight.
Yeah.
But you never know why people have lost weight. And like, you could be congratulating someone who's dealing with an illness or an eating disorder. So I think we need to teach people and remind people that not to comment on bodies, period, you know, like even if it's meant with good intention.
Totally. Yeah, I have a friend who's pregnant, and she put up a post like, please stop talking about my body. Like, it is weird once you're pregnant. It is like everybody just feels like it's a thing you're allowed to talk about is that person's body, and there's just a lot of it's a very weird feeling, and it's weird that our society is very comfortable talking about people's bodies. So like, don't comment. Just
exactly.
Good advice. I like when my friends say that I look happy. I like that.
Exactly, because that's positive and it has nothing to do with your physical appearance, and I think that's what we need to focus on,
Yeah. I have a friend who recently was like, "Oh, you look energetic and glowing," and I was like, "Oh, thank you."
That's it. Yeah.
Which is funny because I was like, I feel the opposite. That's weird, but thank you. But anyway, yeah, I feel like if we could shift more to not commenting, period.
It would be better. Exactly.
That would be better.
And we're already made to feel like our bodies are wrong as women, like our realness is disgusting or weird. And I just have to say that you talk about everything from discharge to farting in your book. And I just am such a fan of normalizing this realness, because you don't often pick up a book and it's talking about this stuff, you kind of, when it happens to you, you're like, what, this happens, like you might poop when you give birth, and no one's talking about how normal that is, for example.
It means actually you are pushing correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I really love that you're reducing the stigma around the female body, especially when it comes to this stuff, because we don't hear everyday conversations. You hear about the long labors and whatnot, but you don't hear about the details, how hard it was to poop after,
Yeah. Oh my God, it's terrifying. It's so terrifying.
And the other thing you talk about is sex. After having a baby, it seems like everyone's talking about your baby's development and your body, but there's very few resources out there talking about real experiences, between the things that the relationship you had with your body and what it's like after. And I had no idea until I read your book that your hormones after having a baby are similar to if you were going through menopause.
Right? So, I know. I found that little ditty and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense.
It does. When I read that, I was like, yes, that explains a lot of things, and it's that constant emotional roller coaster. You're going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and you're just like, you just want to settle. What is the most important thing that you want every new mom to know about post-baby sex?
Honestly, wait till you're ready. You know what? I always say, trust your libido, trust your body. Wait till you're really turned on. And that means that you're ready, probably. Yeah. I mean, obviously, hopefully. past 6 weeks at least.
Yes.
But yeah, I would just say, trust your body. Wait till you're ready. Wait till it seems like you're not terrified of it.
There's not a switch after that 6-week mark,
Go slow. And, if your partner's a good partner, they are more than willing to accommodate you. And amazing. Wait till you're ready.
Smart thinking. So please tell us where we can find your book and where we can follow you online.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. I think my book is available wherever books are sold. There's the Familius website and Workman and Amazon and Barnes and Nobles and everywhere. So amazing. I know, that's so fun to say. Available wherever books are sold.
Right? I know.
I know. Every time I'm like, what? And then please follow me at Liz Swenson BFF on Instagram. That's kind of where I am most of the time. I play with TikTok every once in a while, but
TikTok is hard to adjust to. Yeah.
BFF, because it was the BFF guide to surviving baby.
I love that.
Oh my gosh. And it's like I was doing Go ahead, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying TikTok it kind of exploded on accident, so then I was like, I have to keep doing it, and it's so much work.
It's true. I keep trying to do reels, and it's still a transition for me. I'm so into the photos, but we got to do what we got to do, to spread our message. So lastly, if you could offer one tip to our listeners, what would that be?
On being a new mom or being a human?
Anything.
Okay, so both, I guess. Air mask. take care of yourself. Wherever you are right now in this moment, try to figure out a way to carve out 5 minutes for yourself today, or, way more, carve out a whole day for yourself. But take care of yourself and love yourself, and you're perfect.
That is great advice. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today.
Of course. It was so much fun talking to you. You're so sweet.
Thank you.
Once again, thanks for listening to today's episode. Make sure you follow us at Real Happy Daughter, and please share this with someone who needs a little more real in their life.